Today's Manna. 가스펠라이프 철치 데니얼 킴 목사가 보내드리는 시간입니다.
Good morning to the friends and family of KCBS and Chicagoland. This is Pastor Daniel, and welcome to today's Manna. I want you to take a moment and take a pause and enter this scenario with me. Imagine that there are two construction workers who are out there in the field and just working on some construction. And those two start having a conversation, and when we go talk to these two construction workers, one says, "You know, right now, you're watching me laying down these bricks and I'm just so drained and I'm just having a hard time." And imagine the other person who is doing the exact same job saying, "Right now, I'm helping with the construction of a building which is going to become a church one day." As you see this scenario, you see that these two people are doing the exact same job. However, one sees a task and one sees a greater purpose, a greater vision of the task that's going to be accomplished to fulfill a great calling that has been given to the worker. As you see the scenario, you can be doing the same job, but it is your perspective that distinguishes your attitude when it comes to work. Today, you and I are going to read a verse from Colossians chapter 3, verse 23, a verse that Paul reminds us here where he says, "Work willingly at whatever you do, as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people." This short verse that you and I just read is Paul reminding us that our work, no matter how big, no matter how small, is ultimately for the Lord. You may have a human boss and you may be working for a corporate or even a nonprofit or any type of an organization, but you and I must always remember that this work is for the Lord, and this perspective changes our attitude, our motivation, and our effort. So what are the three ways in our life that you and I can live out our faith in our workplace? The first thing is work with excellence. Work with excellence. And when I think about a man, a biblical figure who had an occupational excellence, is a man named Daniel. The reason why this man was so excellent in his job is he had 4 different bosses throughout his career, but he was always good at his job. He approached his work, a secular work, with such excellence and regardless of any situation. And what you and I see is God rewarding this man with such gift and such talent for being so excellent in his role. This is a reminder that when we do our jobs well, you and I reflect God's character and bring Him glory. This work does not have to be in a ministry field. It could be a secular job and maybe a job that you don't even like. But even in these moments, you and I must have our perspective and our attitude of having an occupational excellence. The second thing is to work with integrity. When I think about a biblical figure who worked with so much integrity, is a man named Joseph. You see, this guy is in Egypt, and he had so many opportunities where he could have taken a shortcut or even fall under the temptation given by so many people around Joseph. However, he always refused to compromise in his character, even in the moments of temptation. This is a reminder that honesty and integrity in the workplace show that our faith is genuine. Even the secular workplace, when there is a temptation, when there is a shorter route for you to get to the corporate climbing ladder to finish on the top, you and I must first remember that we're modeling Christ, who has modeled integrity and honesty throughout his ministry career, as we see here in the scripture. And the last thing is work with a kingdom mindset. You may be working for a human boss, but you are ultimately working to fulfill God's kingdom. In Mark chapter 6, verse 3, we see Jesus having a role of a carpenter. He was born in a manger, and he grew up in the city of Israel. But not only that, he decides to take a job, a secular job as a carpenter. It's probably not the job that was popular. It was not the job of intellectual. And even in the moments of knowing that he's the Messiah, he chose a job that required a lot of hard work, that was draining, and also not seen. He didn't take these small jobs lightly, but rather he used all these opportunities to show that all work can be sacred. Your workplace is a mission field. It's a mission field where you and I are called to treat coworkers with love, with grace, and also with patience. It is your choice that you can make here today as you go to work, even though you hate the job, even though you don't get along with your boss or even your coworkers. You and I must remember to work with excellence, have integrity, and lastly, work with the kingdom mindset.
지금까지 가스펠라이프 철치의 데니얼 킴 목사였습니다. 성경이나 예수 그리스도에 관해서 더 알기를 원하시는 분은 시카고 기독교 방송 전화 847-583 영원 구원으로 연락 바랍니다.